Part 1, Chapters 10 to 12 of this Giddy Globe. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Diana Meilinger. This Giddy Globe by Oliver Herford. Chapter 10. Climate and Weather. Climate is a theory. Weather is a condition. Or, to make it clearer to the reader, climate is a hypothesis, and weather is a reductio ad absurdum. This explains why it invariably snows for the first time in years whenever one goes to California. What is the weather for? Everything in nature is designed to contribute to the needs or pleasures of mankind. From the tree of the forest we get the wood from which the nutmeg is made, the wood alcohol for our Scotch highball, and the pulp for our newspaper, which, in turn, is transmuted to leather for the soles of our soldiers' boots. From the sands of the sea we make sugar for sweetening our coffee, that mysterious beverage, the secret of whose manufacture has never been revealed. From the cotton plant comes the woolen undergarment and the soldier's blanket. From the lowly cabbage springs the Havana perfecto, with its gold and crimson band, and from the simple turnip is distilled the golden champagne, without which so many lives will now be empty. Even the humble straw has its uses, to indicate the trend of the air current, and for the stuffing of the life-preserver. What then is the use of the weather? Supposing you have made a globe, and put some people upon it to live. What would you do to make them feel at home? You would give them something to talk about. Just so, the weather was designed to furnish a universal topic of conversation for man. Without the weather, 999,999 out of 1,000,000 conversation would die in their infancy. In the first geography book we learn from Moses how and of what the weather was made. Since then nothing has been so much talked about as the weather, and in nothing has so little advance been made. Questions. Is it notoriety that makes the weather wane? Where does the winter resort in summer, and why? How many liters of champagne can be extracted from the cube root of one turnip? What did the weather do to get herself so talked about? Chapter 11. Land and Water. The terrestrial globe is pleasingly tinted in blue, pink, yellow, and green. The blue portion is called water, and is inhabited by oysters, clams, submarines, lobsters, and turtles, besides delightful schools of fishes and whales. The pink, yellow, and green portions are called land, and are alive with human beings and other animals and vegetables. Besides the animals and vegetables there are mountains, tablelands, rivers, forests, and lakes. In former times mountains were used as protective barriers. Today they serve as monuments to public men for whom they are named, and country seats for retired grocers and fishmongers. Rivers are the most curious and interesting form of water. Though seldom as shallow, they are as lengthy and involved as congressional speeches, and have to be curled into the most ludicrous shapes to get them into the countries where they belong. The first thing a river does after rising is to betake itself as fast as it can to the nearest river bed, in which it remains for the rest of its days. The largest river in the world is the Amazon, named after the single-breasted suffragette of ancient times. Questions. How many rivers can get into one river bed? Why is a congressman? When Noah saw the flood subside, "The world is going dry," he cried, "so let us all without delay fill up against the droughty day." Chapter 12. The Discovery of the World. In the first geography we are told of a young married couple who were cast into the world for a pomological error on their part, about 4000 B.C. Some 17 centuries later the world was lost sight of in a deluge. It was rediscovered by a navigator named Noah who, though barely 600 years old, was a commander of a sea-going menagerie. Commander Noah, after cruising about for 12 months and 10 days, landed from his zoological water wagon upon a precipitous Asiatic jag, called Ararat, on the 27th of February, 2300 B.C. End of Part 1. Chapters 10 to 12.